Good evening and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. It is a Talk Town special, and Steve's headline this week is "Season Over, or Can We Still Make the Playoffs?" Well, a good evening to Stephen Downs, Cal Scott, and Ted Lasso. Oliver Thompson. Good to see you all this evening.
Amazing.
That moustache, I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm very jealous. I wish I could grow one just as good. Steve, how are we, mate? You had a nice Easter bank holiday?
Yeah, it's been good. The weather's been delightful. I really enjoyed it, mate. I hope everybody's had a just as good a Easter weekend as I have.
Good man. And Ted, you've been to Chile. Have you been to Chile this week, I believe?
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I'm still in Chile at the moment, currently reporting on the Falklands football team, taking on some local teams. So it's quite exciting over here, but still interested in Huddersfield Town, especially the recent results. So yeah, quite just perks of the job, travelling around a bit. But yeah, here in Chile at the moment. So we're going to play the first game. Hey?
And any refereeing over there, Oliver?
Oh, no, mate. It's a different kettle of fish over here. It's it's different style of refereeing here, I would say. So I'll give that one to someone else. I'll be back on the commentary.
What Oliver's trying to say, very politely, is they don't have the money to pay Oliver to referee the games. So he's on the big wedge.
You know me too well already.
And Cal, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, good, sir. Good Easter. Lots of chocolate and some lamb. That was good. All told what you want.
Good
together.
Man.
Chocolate and lamb together.
You're on form tonight, you mate.
No.
He's loving it.
Having the right time.
Come back refreshed from the international break.
Why are you picking on everyone, Steve, from your fridge? Leave everyone alone.
It's about time. Hey, I don't get to pick on people normally, so just crack on, presenter.
Okay, right. Two games. Two games this weekend, gents. Obviously, let's start with the one on Friday. Huddersfield Town were at home to Reading. No point waiting to talk about what the result was. It was one apiece. Arguably, it was a game of two halves as well, Cal.
Yeah, definitely. A game of two halves, very much in that we put in quite the, what do you call it, a bipolar performance. Almost like we've seen before, where we've needed to get to half-time to receive a bit of a rocket, and then we go out and play like we should have started. You don't have to go far to see that it wasn't the best game of football technically. It wasn't. It was a far cry from the Reading and Huddersfield games of maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where they were, top players playing at the top of the division. These are two sides that are trying to stay in the playoffs, and one's making a better fist of it than the other at the moment. But we'll see in the fullness of time.
Well, even that famous game, I remember, Cal, it was still an
really poor,
really dreadful game. Oliver, were you in Chile while Town were hosting Reading? How much of that did you get to see?
Well, I get to see it a lot from the TV screens, of course, miles away. I was in the UK. No, I wasn't. I was in the Falkland Islands getting myself ready to come over here. But yeah, I saw the results, saw the epic goal, which I'm sure we'll touch up on soon. But yeah, it was, as Cal mentioned, it was a game of two halves, definitely.
And Steve, it was. I don't know about you, but I certainly thought the first half was okay. It was okay. I think that's kind of where we was at for that Reading game. It wasn't great, but the first half was certainly okay. How did you feel? He's not even. Oh, he is here. He's just a second delay.
I'm in.
Did you have to think about that one?
I think I had to think how I wanted to answer you. Yeah. When you say okay, I personally didn't think it was very good. to be honest. I think you've been very polite there when you say it was okay. There wasn't a lot of energy. You could tell, in terms of the crowd. I don't think we were necessarily up for it. We didn't see anything on the pitch with obviously previous results either gone. And it kind of set out in a very similar sort of tepid tempo as what we had in the previous games. And I think we were all a bit miffed by that, really. Although we had Alfie May starting up front with Bojan, which was good to see. There wasn't really anything from the lineup I was disappointed by, but it was, all week we were being told, we're going to go after Reading. We're really going to start quick and make sure they know that they've come to our Fortress Haku, as Oliver likes to call it. And we got none of that, Kane, for me. I thought it was pretty dire, to be honest, but from both teams.
But what I would say though, Steve, Alfie May didn't play up top with Radilovic, did he? It wasn't a two-man up front.
No, it wasn't a two-man up front. No, you are correct in that. But
the only reason I'm pointing that out, Steve, is because that's something that's been mentioned on the podcast before. That's something you would like to see, and other people would like to see.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, it was like we've seen before with Bojan up top and then two people in behind. But yeah, I didn't think it worked particularly well. We didn't really get Alfie May into the game at all. And yeah, I just thought it was an overall really poor first half, to be absolutely honest.
Okay. Cal, obviously, Liam Manning out for the season now on compassionate grounds, and we are all thinking of you, Liam. If you do watch, if you ever do hear of this, everyone from the West Yorkshire Football Show, especially the Talk Town special, we are thinking of you and we are with you. Were you expecting anything different from John Stead and Drury, or was it a case of, well, they're just taking over for into the end of the season, so we will just have the same?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything dramatically different. They've been brought in to just be a safe pair of hands and not let anything too drastic happen to the first team. I think that's very much their MO, is not to come in and shake things up, because you run the risk of undoing all the work that Manning's been trying to do since he's come in if you do that. So they're obviously going to stick to the same principles and the same. I suspect what they'll be saying is, treat it like he's still here. You stick to the same principles. You do. His non-negotiables will be the same non-negotiables, and every manager has those, and that style. I think. I don't know how much, when you're on compassionate leave, I don't know how much you keep your hand in. I would hope for his sake it's not a lot, because the whole point of going on compassionate leave is that you take time away from the pressures and the stresses of the job to focus on yourself and your family, and I really hope he's doing that. So I hope that he doesn't have too much of a hand in, but at the same time, I feel like John Stead and Martin Drury are probably just keeping the ship steady and business as usual.
Yeah, so what you're saying is basically they're just going to be doing exactly of what you would expect Liam Manning to be doing.
And I suspect they'll be well briefed by Manning before he went to suggest this is how I want to go about these fixtures, and you have autonomy, but not too much.
Yeah. Would you have preferred to see a change
in style,
formation, or anything like that, while John Stead and Martin Drew were in charge? Because there has been one change since that, and Town are now leaving a man up when defending corners, sometimes two.
Yeah, and the problem is we don't know whether that was a change that was planned by Manning to be implemented by Manning at this point in the season anyway. So I wouldn't have liked to have seen a change, because, like I say, the whole point of, and Liam Manning is big on the mantra of, when he was first appointed, he wanted time on the training ground to embed his ideas, and he said that the first games wouldn't be brilliant because the players need time to understand what he's asking them to do. So it would make no sense now to go in at this point of the season where there is still things to play for on paper, whether we think that there are or not. There are on paper, and ruffle feathers and change things up and run the risk of potentially losing out completely on those things that are still up for grabs, just in case you want to have a go and change and move things around. What you'd want is a seamless transition from Manning to his two able deputies and back to Manning again. And that can't happen if they've come in, changed everything, changed the principles, and then Manning's got to come back and put it all back together.
Okay, and Oliver, I did mute you just because I could hear you rustling with your drink. Do you think it's the right thing that obviously John Stead and Martin Drury come in and just continue what Liam Manning's been doing? Do you think that's easier for the players as well, considering the circumstances?
Yeah, no, apologies for the drink. Yeah, pretty thirsty. But yeah, like I say, you got to think about it. John Stead knows the club. He's been at the Huddersfield Town for a while, as academy coach. He's done, he was my favourite striker when I was a supporter, little boy watching the game. He's also from the local roots as well. He used to play in Hetworth United and local football team. So he knows Huddersfield. And then you've got on the other side, you've got Martin Drury, who's coached at academy level for Manchester United and been at West Brom, Valencia, and all these other places, that have really fancy names. So I just, I think they've got the experience, definitely, and clearly the higher ups have seen something in them to implement the style or however they go, because otherwise they would end up recruiting someone else to cover for the rest of the season. They haven't done that. They've put their trust in a dual manager role with John Stead and Martin Drury, and hopefully it pays off. I mean, they're doing a few changes. I think they put an academy player on against Reading. I can't remember his name now, but yeah. So that's it. Yeah. They're more than welcome to start and adapting and looking at new things. And like, as I echo what you've just said about Liam Manning, my thoughts are with him and his family at this time. But at the time, Martin Drury and John Stead have been trusted to take over the reins temporarily until the end of the season. So fair enough if that's what they've been done.
And Steve, as you mentioned earlier, we've had a few players back in the squad, which was great to see. Town go down 1-0, though it's a penalty. Definitely a penalty, by the way. There's no arguments about that. I thought the referee was. He set his stall out, didn't he, after 10 seconds, giving away that free kick against Bojan. Just a bit of a collision. But regardless of that, it was Town who probably needed to come out in the second half a little bit better. Where are you on that? Did you think they did that or not?
Yeah, I thought we were a little bit better in the second half. We started, more on the front foot. I think it got to about maybe 65 minutes where I thought we started to play some really half decent football, but without really creating much still. I thought we still weren't getting many crosses into the box, which is arguably what we did better today, which I'm sure we'll come on to talk about against Leyton Orient. So it was better, but was it a game where I thought, are we doing everything we need to do to win, to get 3 points, to climb ourselves back into contention for the playoffs? No, I didn't. I thought it was we still looked for some reason rusty. There wasn't patterns of play. There wasn't, sort of real get up and go energy. I thought Gooch had a particularly poor game again. And obviously Sorensen came on and did really well when he got made sub. But I think, overall, whilst it was better, Kane, and we started better, were we amazing? No, unfortunately not.
Unmute myself. They've got some good players, haven't they, of Reading? Lewis Wing absolutely controlled the game, didn't he?
Yeah. But he's been an experienced player for quite a number of seasons now, hasn't he? And I thought Savage had a decent game for Reading as well, to be fair. I know he got booked. Was it in the second half? He got booked for an absolute clattering challenge on, I think it was Humphreys, but so he was taken after his dad there for sure. But yeah, I thought him and Lewis Wing were particularly very effective for them. In a way, out of all the playoff teams that we've faced, and I know we've still got Bolton to play, but Reading looked the weakest. You know, I thought that whilst they have moments, I think I'd spoken to a few people that had been and watched Reading in previous games, and they said that that's what they are. They're a moments team. They're not an absolute dominating team, and I felt that's pretty much how the game went for large swathes of a game on Friday. You know, neither team were really controlling it, but there were moments in there where you thought it could go either way.
And Cal, coming on to you, I thought that the defence for Town kept Kelvin Abechiman quiet.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Have you practiced that? Because I've just been looking and trying to fit. I've literally got a tab open here that says Kevin Abechiman pronunciation because I didn't want to say it and get it wrong. So well done.
Yeah, well, obviously, let's admit, I had to do it on commentary on Friday, and thankfully, for me, Town kept him out of the game.
Yeah, I think we played quite well as a defensive unit there, which is interesting to say because for the longest part of this season, I've bemoaned the fact that we've played with three at the back and the two sort of wing backs, if you will, have played a bit too high up. But that sort of suited the way that they were attacking us because their overlaps weren't really penetrating down that far side. So I enjoyed the defensive display without it being, you know, it wasn't one of the ones where you think, oh, crikey, they've been spectacular, they've not put a foot wrong. But to be fair, given some of the performances they've put in this season, it was a good showing.
Yeah, just another thing as well, before I forget. Joel Pereira in goal for Reading. We know what he's like as a goalkeeper. This is my point in getting to. The conditions were absolutely horrendous with the wind and the rain. The few times he did touch the ball, he either dropped it or couldn't make a pass. Did you feel as if, again, something I spoke about before in the past, play the conditions, and sometimes you got a goalkeeper like that, you got to pepper him. We just didn't do that, did we, Cal?
No, we didn't. And to be fair, he had a rough run when he was with us, and his control isn't. But he's very much the Colin Quaner of the goalkeeping world, in my book. He just doesn't sit right doesn't look comfortable at any point during a game, but will somehow come up with the goods. And I think you do have to pepper a goalkeeper like that, especially in those conditions. You're at home, and this is another thing that I've moaned about a lot this season. We seem reluctant, even at home, to put the foot down and really go for it and put pressure on. When we know that there are weak points that we can exploit. This Reading side are not world beaters. I thought Nyambe on that far side had a really poor afternoon, to be fair. And we didn't exploit that at all. And we should have done, and we've got the quality to do so. And obviously we'll come on to today's game, but it's very much the same story. And it has been for a long time now. The quality is in the side. We do not deploy it well enough.
Can you just hold that thought for me, Cal? And Steve, I know you've got something to come on to that, and I think it might be worth going through it after we spoke about today's game as well, because I think it could be some really good points in there. Let's just finish off with Reading. Oliver, Town eventually got the goal. The ball in from Rowan. Sorensen's at the back stick. He's unmarked. And do you know what? It's a really good finish as well.
Yeah, I think it was a case of let's just have a go. And like I say, there was last few minutes, wasn't it? Well, a few seconds on the clock, wasn't it? And then let's just have a go. It did, in my perspective, it did come out from nowhere. I did think maybe we were going to score, but like I say, he manages to get it through to Sorensen, and he fires home and keeps the record alive. I know Stephen doesn't like this Fortress Aku nonsense, but it keeps it going. So is it 14 or 13 now? So, but yeah, I mean, like I say, if we would have lost that, I think Stephen's headline would have been more realistic, but we didn't, and we march on and carry on and keep moving forward. But yeah, what a goal.
Thank you, Oliver. Playoffs still not over yet after Friday. Okay, good evening, Paul. Hope you're well. And Ian says, for God's sake, let the new management team employ their ideas and tactics. That's when we were talking about John Stidham and Drew just taking over for the rest of the season. Luke says, evening, lads. Reading were playing for a point from the get-go. We were better team overall. Once they got the pen, we were up against it in our inability to break teams down. As soon as a goal went in, the penalty, how quick our heads went down against Reading. That's something we have to get rid of completely. Their heads went down straight away. Plus, you lose that mentality. We should have bullied Pereira as well. He is a bad keeper, says Paul. And Ian says, as a season ticket holder, I did not go. Fed up with our dire football. In honesty, I want us to lose. Okay, that is very negative, Ian. That is very negative. It's like me and like you and Steve are best mates at the moment. Okay.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry. That were below the belt, wasn't it? Below the
belt. I never wanted us to lose.
Okay, so we're going to today's game, and playoffs are still in and around it. Results are going okay for Town. But I guess the big headline, Cal, no Alfie May. He was brought off against Reading, and he looked very, very frustrated when he was brought off because there seemed to be conversations between Martin Drury Johnstead and Alfie May just before we were coming off. I don't know if you saw that, but there were arms flailing about everywhere from all three involved. And today, nowhere to be seen.
Interesting. And I fall sort of in the middle on this one because Alfie May is a very good footballer, and you know we've spent a lot of money to get him here, and you know he came with a certain weight of expectation because he's done it before at this level. He's a reputation for being a consistent performer at this level. We haven't seen that in a Town shirt, and this is why I'm in the middle, because I don't know whether that is a player issue or whether that is because he's played under Grant, which was a system that evidently didn't suit him. And then we've changed, and now Manning's playing in a system where now does this system suit him or doesn't it? Or is there something else going on? Has he decided that he's out the door? He's 1 foot out the door. Now, for me, I think he has. There's an attitude problem there anyway.
Okay,
That's
well,
possibly because he's come in with everyone going, oh, Alfie May's class is going to take us up. Oh, 30 goal a season striker. Come on.
Okay, these are the comments that we just had in. Orient comment said he's had a knock. They said today he had a niggle. Apparently, read into that what you will. Also, Red Steady said he had a knock on Friday. Steve, obviously, we've seen it before. I'm not suggesting this, that players have niggles and knocks when they're not interested in playing, but it'd be a shame if that was the case, wouldn't it? Because I think we all want to see Alfie May play for Huddersfield Town.
Yeah, I didn't see what you saw on Friday came from where I was sat, but I haven't got the greatest view of sort of the dugout area. So that's interesting that from what you said and your view. But yeah, I think listen, we want Alfie May to be on top form for us, and he hasn't all season. I agree with Cal. I think there's a bit of both, really. I think there's a case where we haven't got the best out of him. That's clearly also the case, by the way, with Joe Taylor. Look at what he's doing at Wigan. And I think there's probably a section now of we've come to this point of the season, and probably in his own head, he's probably thinking, I can't wait for the season to be over and I can probably move on to a different club. I don't see him being here next season. I also don't see Joe Taylor being here next season, which is a real shame. That's more of a shame than Alfie May not being here, by the way. But yeah, listen, we kind of all have an idea when it's said about players getting knocks and things like that. I mean, you'd like to hope that they can play through some of these things that apparently have gone on. But yeah, I mean, end of the day, Martin Drury and John Stead are the managers, and for me, you as a player, you might be frustrated, and that's fine. You're allowed to have frustrations, but you also need to do what the managers tell you to do. And if you're not doing that, then end of the day, they are the managers. They're in charge. They've been put in charge by the hierarchy of the club. So, and there's a reason why that's happened. Yeah, it's just a shame in it that we bought him for 1.2 million, and I genuinely don't think we'll see the best from him because I don't think he'll be here next season. So it's a real shame.
Okay, Oliver, before I come to you, just got a few comments. He's not playing well at the moment. I was hyped, but I think he has his head turned by his agent. Interesting. May not getting the service to score goals. He's a frustrated player and it shows. I think that's a very good comment, Ian. Looked like the management had chose May over Taylor with him going out on loan. We haven't played to any of our strikers' strengths. You could argue Bojan. You only have to look at Taylor at Wigan and see that. He hasn't got the fighting heart to battle for us at the minute. His performances are below par, to be frank. Oliver, what did you make on this situation with Alfie May not in the squad today?
Well, I think it's a bit of a shame, isn't it, really? The fact that he's meant to be one of our top strikers, especially with Joe Taylor going, and he's meant to be the one that's bringing us goals, and obviously he's been left out. And like I say, as one of the commenters just said, as one of our listeners has just said, about read into it what you will, if he's had a niggle or whatever. But at the end of the day, the only thing I can stress is that we've had 3 management teams this season, starting with Lee Grant. He was left out of a Lee Grant team and said he wasn't a striker or whatever. Then, and then Liam Manning, he was starting to be sort of removed from his position there, and then Martin Drury and Thompson. I mean, it just seems a bit strange. That's all I'd say. I mean, Alfie May is a talent. I mean, one of the listeners has just said about something about the agent turning his head, maybe. I mean, in my head, but again, I'm not a footballer. That's why I write for a living. But in my head, if I was wanting to move, I'd be wanting to put the best performances in towards the end of the season for people to start having a look at me. But at the end of the day, I'm not a footballer, so I couldn't. There must be some other backhanding, but who knows? But I do find it quite sad, to be honest. I mean, he should be up there. He should be a good. He should be the one that should be firing the goals in, but it's not. It's not working for whatever reason. Whatever's happening behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, just jump in there, okay?
You can, of course, you can.
On one of Oliver's foot points, I agree, Oliver, in the principle that we all sit here and that we want to do the best for Huddersfield Town Football Club and want to play the best as what we can to maybe get his move if he wants to move. However, a player like Alfie May at League One level with the reputation that he's got, he doesn't necessarily need to play because somebody will buy him because of his past sort of experience within this league. It's not like a Cam Asher, say, or even an Anthony Evans or somebody like that, where they've kind of maybe had one good season and then not had a great next season. Alfie May's consistently done it at this level, so in his head he'll be like, I don't really need to play well for Town because I'll just get a move anyway.
Yeah, but what's the difference there? Get a move to League Two or get a move to the Premier League? You know what I mean? Of course, anyone can come and buy him, but you know what I mean? If he performs well, if he keeps moving forward, then he'll be able to get another. I don't know. It just seems a bit straight. I would be different, definitely. But I'm not a footballer, so I don't know. But it's you'd want to really perform your heart out. The last few games of the season, prove to the clubs that are coming up when the transfer window opens that you have ended on a high. And you're ready to compete at League One, maybe even Championship level. You know what I mean?
But he doesn't need to prove anything. That's my point, though. He doesn't need to prove anything. He scored 20 to 30 goals in this league.
But when was that? When was that?
The last season for Birmingham.
But that's
before for Charlton. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
you're only as good as your present game, though, aren't you? Well, that's in my opinion. But you're only as good as your present game. You could argue he's lost it. Then he's lost it after a really good season, 2 seasons, and then
No, he's
maybe he's
not.
lost it at Huddersfield.
Town
I
have
don't
done
think
this
he's-
before, though. We appear to be forgetting that Town have done this several times before, and not once has it worked. We bought in Fraser Campbell, didn't work. We bought back Jordan Rhodes, again, didn't work. We do this all the time.
Yeah, but
Right,
he's not gone though.
He might have popped up with 1 or 2 good goals, but he wasn't prolific, was he?
I felt for Jordan Rhodes. I don't think he was getting the game time he deserved.
That's nice, but
No, I
didn't
agree.
perform.
I agree. I agree. I also agree with that. I don't.
That's
think,
lovely,
I
but didn't perform, did he?
Yeah, but Alfie May. That's what my point is. Alfie May is not performing.
No, he's
right?
not. No, he's not performing.
He's not performing. I agree, Cal, that we have seen this time and time again. My point was on Oliver's point. Whilst I agree with the basis of what Oliver's saying, that he should want to be professional and do his best and whatever. We know that footballers are not always like that, unfortunately. And he knows with his past, what he's done in the past for Birmingham and Charlton in this division and other clubs, he knows he'll get a move depending on who comes down.
Does Luke make a point here? We lack any creativity in midfield to play to most strikers' strengths.
This is
He's got Kasulu playing up top, for God's sake. I mean,
the problem isn't the strikers. The problem isn't the strikers. Although, to be fair, sometimes I've noticed that there's a bit of maybe game awareness lacking to get yourself in the position to be on the end of a ball if the ball does come. But that's the problem. We're not saying when the ball does come, it's if, because we've got such an inconsistent midfield that the strikers don't know whether they're coming or going, because a cross might come into middle at box, or might go far post, or might come front post, and you're constantly second guessing where you've got to be able to be in the best place to convert, because they don't know.
Yeah,
100% on that, Cal. I agree totally. I mean, you've got Kazumu playing as a number 10. I mean, the lad can't pass a ball.
Right. Let's just get on to the game, because I think this, what you just mentioned there, is a bigger point. Let's crack through the game, because Town go 1-0 down. Balker own goal. And it's a cracking header, by the way. Cracking header. Lovely ball into the box. It takes for Town 45 minutes to get a shot on target and an actual shot. It's a long time, Cal.
How many times have we said that at this level? You cannot play that sort of passive football. You just can't. It doesn't matter where the team that you're playing is in the table at the time. You can't be as reactive and passive as we have been. We allowed them to play around us. They got some good chances away. We were lucky that it wasn't 1 or 2. But they didn't, they didn't come at us and go, we're going to take the game to you. What happened was the classic Huddersfield Town, that we sat off. We let them play around us because we've come away from home and thought, right, we're up against it here. I don't know where Leyton Orient were before a ball was kicked, but they were 15th. I think they are 15th now. But a top 6 chasing side, has come away from home yet again and gone, we're going to have to let them, they're going to have the majority of the ball and we're just going to feed off their scraps.
Is that, Steve, is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, in that first half, it was abysmal, wasn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, no creativity, no, there was just nothing. I mean, Bojan was very isolated, I thought, up top, trying to get onto things. I mean, there was a comment very early on from the commentary I was watching, saying that nobody was running off him. So whenever he did win a header against, what was his name? Happy, yeah. I think he was probably Orient's best defender on the day, and he dealt with a lot in that first half that did come up there, but Bojan just had no help at all, and I felt a bit sorry for him, really. I mean, he's come back, and the goal just before half time was a lifeline. Let's be absolutely honest, because for that first half, we did not deserve to go into half time level.
No, but they did get it. Eventually, Oliver. Yeah, Oliver. It took some time, but Town eventually put a decent ball in, and Bojan doing what we know Bojan can do, scoring goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a simple answer, really. Yeah, it kind of broke the momentum. Well, actually gave us the momentum, didn't it, going into the half? But I mean, yeah, it's quite a contrast though, because the first game of the season we won 3-0. Was it 3-0? Oh no, 3-0 against Leyton Orient, and then now it seems just a bit of contrast how it's changed to 2-1. But at the end of the day, at least we grounded out. Well, I guess we'll get to the second goal, but yeah, definitely the first goal. It could have been dead and buried, but it wasn't. That's the whole point of it. But yeah, it's good.
And Oliver, it'll have probably been a different team to have won it at half time, because at one point you go in the sheds 1-0 down, and then you manage to bag yourself an equaliser. So the conversation could change very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Going in at 1-0 down, you've got a definitely different sort of mentality, or so you're not under pressure straight away in the second half to try and get one back. And again, all the tactics would have changed. But it just shows how Huddersfield were able to regroup and carry on, really, to get a goal in at half time. But yeah, it would have changed. Again, March and Jury probably would have said, just enjoy it, guys, and same with John Stead as well. To try and the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, it would have given them that belief that Huddersfield need, that confidence to go, we can win this game. We can absolutely win this game at half time, rather than going in a 1-0 down and being like, oh no, we're going to have to chase the game again and maybe try and get a draw. Going into the second half, we can go, right, we can actually win this game.
So you believe that the manager would tell them to just go out there and enjoy it?
Yeah, it would have been different, wouldn't it? Because there's no pressure, little pressure, compared to going in at 1-0 down, having to claw back the result. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day,
is there not pressure anyway? Because you've got to go and win a game. If you want to play,
yeah, no, that's true. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more pressure if you go in 1-0 down into the next half. Whereas if you've got that goal, you've got momentum into the second half. You know what I mean? Because you've scored that goal, you're drawing, and you've built that momentum going forward.
Okay, so it just might be a little bit easier for me in the second half. John, I'm just pressing buttons. Steve, so the second half comes out. Town just seems as they started just slightly better, didn't they? This looked like they wanted it a little bit more.
Yeah, don't press Oliver's button, by the way. I'll give you a red card. So just back down. He's got his red card in there. I think we came out better in the second half, didn't we? There was a lot more urgency. There was people getting closer, as I say, to Bojan. There was a bit more forward passing rather than the usual side-to-side sort of stuff. I thought Humphries came into the game a lot more, which was good. They had one lad, he basically stuck on Humphries for the whole game, which I thought was quite interesting. He's obviously targeted him as one of our sort of more danger people to go through the midfield with. So that tactically, I thought that was quite an interesting thing that I saw. I don't know if anybody else picked that up. But I thought Sorensen played really well in terms of that second half as well, crossing the ball in, making a nuisance of himself, and yeah, it was a lot better. I didn't think we were going to go on to see what we were going to go on to see, but it was a bit better. It was a lot like the Reading game. I thought it was a carbon copy of the Reading game. We were outstanding, but we were a hell of a lot better.
And Cal, in that second half, Radinho Balca looked as if he was a man possessed. He really wanted to make up for that own goal. I mean, he's got an absolute worldie, as James has said on the chats. I'll come to that. But then I've seen him bearing down the left wing, eventually putting a shot on. Also from the right-hand side, coming in with his left boot. He really wanted it. And that's kind of thing that we've potentially been missing. Someone to go, right, I'm going to get this game by the scruff of the neck. I'm going to take it to them. And it kind of gave Town a little bit of a lift. And we had the subs afterwards. He was brought off, which interesting, but we know he's been injured. But that kind of leadership, that kind of performance helps other players to go, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was superb. You know, like, yes, it's an own goal. It's a poor own goal. I mean, it's an absolute cracker of a goal, to be fair. He's got on the end of that ball. Superb. But wrong goal. So either you can do what the majority of the squad did, I think, and let your heads drop a bit and think, oh no, what's happened there? Or you can do what Bolka did and go, right, I'm going to go and get a goal, and I'm going to go and get another one, and I'm going to make up for what I've done there. I thought it was superb. I really did. And to me, it shows that he gives one. He cares about what the performance he's putting in and the team, which is something that I feel we are lacking at the minute. I never ever want to accuse players of not caring, but from what we've seen, they're not invested in it. They're not up for the fight for me. But Bolka seems to be one of the ones that's sort of leading the charge and going, no, there's still something to fight for here. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and then eventually, I'm going to try and wrap it up because I think there's a few points that we need to go through, lots of comments as well. The changes come on. We get the concussion change as well due to George Sabine coming on for 30 seconds, him and Harness both going to head the same ball and then having to come straight back off. But we do get the extra change. Dion Charles comes back into it. Miller comes onto the field because Feeney gets injured in the warm-up, so someone we weren't expecting to play. Club captain Ryan Ledser comes on, wins the game for Huddersfield. Wins the game for Huddersfield on a weekend where it just looked like it might not have happened. And Steve, eventually, it did happen.
Yeah, and he could have won that against Reading as well, remember, with Pereira making that double save as well. So,
I'm not going to call that a double save. First one hit him. Second one a good save, but first one hit him.
Okay. But it was still, Ledson still nearly won that game for us as well. I think the thing for Ledson is I've been quite critical of him over the season, and rightly so, I may add. However, he has popped up in big moments, and that's what you ask of your captain. So, he'll have been disappointed not to start, but he's come on, he's made a difference, and he's got in the right areas. And just a big compliment there to Anthony Evans as well, because there was literally 5 seconds on the clock left, and he just did the right thing, lifted it into the danger area, and that's where it popped up and Ledson got the strike. And I think, to be honest, as the clock wore on, Leyton Orient got tired. They had not as much energy as Town. I thought that helped us as well. We got back more and more into the game as time went on. Sorry, I thought Lee Nichols made an outstanding save as well. They could have easily won that game in terms of if he hadn't made that save. And Sean Rowan made an unbelievable block as well at one point before we got the winner. So all these little things went into the performance in the end. I thought Dion Charles came on, made a big difference in terms of ratting around as usual, and sort of like getting into some of the Leyton Orient players' faces, and they didn't like that. So whilst obviously it wasn't nice to see George Sabine go off after literally 10 seconds and Marcus Harness having quite a nasty head injury, that's obviously not something that we ever want to see our players go through. I think it sort of all added into the mix, Kane, of why we got that goal at the end. And what was really nice to see was the players really going over and celebrating with the hearty travelling support that had gone down to London. I think it was big vocal support that went down there, mostly probably Southern Terriers, but yeah, it's just nice, isn't it, to end Easter weekend knowing we've got 4 points out of a possible 6, and it keeps us in there. And I think that's a massive part of moments of this season if we do end up somehow miraculously getting in there.
And Oliver, as Steve mentioned there, these little moments kept adding up, and what a positive way to finish the Easter break.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in both games, 2 late goals. I mean, we've been on the receiving end of these late goals, so it's nice to actually be on the positive and get some of these late goals in. And crucially, I'm sure we'll get up onto it. It keeps us in that race for the playoffs. I mean, if we would have drawn that or even lost that, I would. Stephen's headline would have been correct, but this keeps us still in the conversation, still hoping, and it breaks Stephen's prediction. You thought we weren't going to win a game towards the end of the season, so we've managed to break that now. So, but yeah, it's all good. Well, it's public. It's public now, isn't it? I had to say it because surely. But you did say, to be honest, Leyton Orient could be a potential win. But yeah, last minute goal on it, so we needed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we certainly did need that. Right, okay. Let's go through some comments, and then Carl, I want to bring back up what we were saying. Hold that thought for as well. So after we've done that, if there's anything that we need to speak about on these comments, we will.
Be honest, you're gonna have to remind me because I've not held that thought.
Yeah, well, I'm very disappointed in you. Yeah, it's okay. BPL says, don't agree with Kasumu playing in attacking midfield. I really don't get why we don't give Will Alves more time. In my view, he will be one of the best midfielders at this level. No coincidence, the only informed striker returns and scores. Never used Alfie May to his strength, same as Joe Taylor. Non-existent midfield tactics to strikers, crap manager and coaching, and tactics, says Michael. We look lacklustre and so passive today. We got the win today, yes, but we needed extra time to win it. They were unbeaten in 6 before today. We got lucky for once, but was there meant to be a game plan on the first half before Balker scored his worldie? Noticed particularly that when Leyton Orient had a headed ball clearance, it went to a Leyton Orient player. When Town headed the ball forward, it always found a Leyton Orient player. Michael's also saying that Herbie Kane is injured and Plymouth sent him back to Town. I've not seen that one yet. Jed said, a positive one here. Is this a turning point for Town? An unbeaten run or a false dawn? Well, Jed, let's hope it is a positive turning point for Huddersfield Town. We have no leaders in the team, so we play lethargic football. It's about time the coaches spell it out to the players to start taking some responsibility. Chris says, you're welcome for the Reading defeat. Good about George Sabine. Good kid, came through the ranks at Guiseley before joining Town last summer. And Chris, congratulations. I hope you're enjoying your party today, although I'm sure you were partying on Friday anyway, because no one else is going to score them amount of goals. But for it to be cemented today, congratulations. Chris is a Lincoln fan, and it's a well-deserved promotion for them. Plymouth, Luton, Stevenage all win. It's a scrap to the death for sixth spot. Make no mistake about that. We didn't run out of fuel, unlike my local garage yet. Jed is in Australia, having some oil issues over there. I'm sure you'll get that all sorted. But Australia is only a small place. Surely you can walk everywhere over there, Jed. The only way we get into the playoffs is for Bolton to beat Stevenage, and we beat Bolton. Thought season was over when Muzzer hit the bar, but it's moment like that last-minute winner that can give us that boost and momentum to carry us into the playoffs. And Luke, I find that hard to disagree with. I don't know about you, Steve, but you mentioned the little moments in that game, didn't you? About the Evans getting it forward and Rowan making great sliding tackles. And we mentioned with Kyle about Balker's run down the left-hand side, despite the fact he's playing right centre-half and putting the shot in afterwards. Sometimes a little moment, and then sometimes a big moment, which all the little ones have led up to, can just change things.
Yeah, of course they can, and they make a big difference, and also they help to turn the momentum, the tide of maybe where the game was heading. I'm not necessarily saying that Leyton Orient were looking like world beaters, but when Rowan makes that block, when Nichols makes that save, when we get 2 corners in a row, it because of Bolker having the shot, or Michael Miller running down the line and getting it across in. It makes a big difference to help turn the momentum, and players can feel it on the pitch, and fans can certainly feel it in the crowd. And there was a bit of nervousness. I thought at Brisbane Lane, they obviously, whilst 15th, they've clawed themselves out of the relegation zone in these last 6 fixtures, but by no means it's all done and dusted down there. I think they are pretty much safe now because of the run that they've just gone on, but they certainly wanted to at least draw that game today to definitely make sure that they were going to be League One next season. And for us, like I said, it before today's game we were 4 points off. Well, after today's game, because of other results and the way things have panned out, and obviously our result, we're now only 3 points behind 6th place Stevenage. And momentum is a massive thing in football, but I'm sure we'll come on to talk about it anyway. But we've got 3 massive games coming up that we're going to have to play a hell of a lot better in if we are going to try and really put a bit of a push for that 6th spot. We're going to have to play a hell of a lot better against the next 3 opponents than what we have against the previous 2.
Paul says a sparkling night when that goal went in from Ledson. I saw passion. Oliver, did you see that passion all the way from Chile as well?
Yeah, I could feel it all the way from Chile. Simple answer really. Just you could always tell, sometimes when the game should be going in your way. And I would say we deserve that late goal. Honestly, I thought it was a good performance. But yeah, this is the thing, because the team has been so kind of low on confidence, with obviously and then managerial changes and things going on and things like that. I mean, the passion's still there. It's just hopefully, as Steve said, these next 3 games are our cup finals. To hopefully keep that confidence rolling into the next few games.
Yeah, let's hope so. Cal, coming on to the next few games, you mentioned areas within shape and the formation, and it's been mentioned about Kasumu playing further up than he's used to on the comments and in here as well. Do you still think, look, there's been a great win today. We can't. Is that papering over some cracks? Is there still a lot of areas where Town need to change things to potentially get themselves in the playoffs, or do you think they can do it the way they are at the moment?
No, I don't think. I think there are things that we need to improve on. I think we generally need to sharpen up when it comes to decision making, because I thought today, yes, we got the win, excellent, really good, very, very happy. I thought we were quite sloppy, actually. Lots of misplaced passes, a couple from Kasumu that I thought were really poor. Some ill discipline. Murray Wallace, a very lucky boy to still be on the pitch, I have to say. Picked up a yellow card and then not long afterwards caught an Orient man, I'm not sure who it was now, really, really late, and very lucky to still be on the field for me. So I think tactics-wise, at this point in the season, it can be decided on a lot of things outside of tactical control. I think tiredness can creep in, mentality can creep in. If teams have got nothing to play for, then they're less inclined to sort of have that verve and get up and go that hopefully Huddersfield will have. But we have to get a grip on the discipline piece and the decision making, because against a better side that could have cost us a lot more. Steve was saying earlier that towards the end of the game, Leyton Orient were down and out. I counted at least 3 occasions where they caught us on the break, and it was 3 against 2 or 2 on 2, and we were very lucky to get away. We were very lucky that Ballard decided to take on the entire defence on his own and try and put the ball in the back of the net each time instead of squaring the ball, because they could have quite easily got a winner. So we've got to think smarter, because we've got good sides to play still, and they will punish us if we show that side of our game too often.
And Steve, where are you on it? Do you think if Town continue the way they are in this shape, this formation, they could still reach it, or do you want to see changes?
Well, I've wanted to see changes, haven't I, since the second game, where it started to go slightly wrong for Manning. So I've wanted to get out of this formation all season, Kane, to be honest, in the shape that we play. And I've been quite clear about that, but it's not going to happen, is it? So we've got 6 games left to try and achieve something. I just think there's a lot can happen. Look at the table right now and how close it is and where people have dropped points. It is really, really tight, and I mean, anything can happen. The next couple of games, we've got Wickham, obviously, Cardiff, and Bolton away. I think Wickham, they've dropped points today. So Michael Duff obviously will want to come back and he'll want to obviously get a win at our place next week, prove a bit of a point. I think that'll be his main motivation. Then you've got Cardiff, and obviously they have still got promotion to try and achieve, so they've got something to play for. I don't think that they'll get the title now, because I think Lincoln will wrap that up eventually. But they've still got promotion to on the cards, and then obviously Bolton will want to try and either chase for second, or if second isn't possible, they'll want to tie up their playoff spot. So it's going to be very difficult. But I tell you what, if we're going to do it, what a momentum to go into the playoffs with. If you go and beat some of these sides that are in and around us, and then you finish the season with 2 decent wins against Mansfield and Wimbledon. But it's a long way to go into it, and there's plenty to play for. But yeah, I'm feeling confident after today, but not confident in terms of whether I think we'll get in there. I think they're showing some bits of the players. Like I think Oliver said, showing a bit of fight and a bit of passion at the end there. But as I said before, going to have to play so much better against the next 3 teams, because if you don't, they'll just rip you to shreds.
And Oliver, while you're down in your Coke Zero there, or whatever it is, how nice is it to hear Steve saying he's confident after performance?
I almost fell off my chair there. No, I'm joking. But I totally understand the sentiment. Honestly, it has been a sort of and it's not Steve. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have voiced their opinions about how poor it's been, and it has been not good enough. But at the end of the day, looking at the bright side is we're still in that mix. We're still in that conversation. As Steve said, there's about 6 teams that could all fight for that one place in the playoffs. And wouldn't it be so good if we managed to get? And again, this is where it kills you, isn't it? The hope. Wouldn't it be so good if we managed to find our form just at the last minute, going into the playoffs and going forward? But again, I'm not looking at the 3 games really. I just want to look at every one game at a time. And time is running out. A loss is pretty tragic, to be honest. So we got some tough fixtures, Wickham and Cardiff as well. You know what I mean? It's going to be pretty difficult. So one game at a time for me. But yeah, it is good. But as typical Huddersfield Town, the hope it kills you, doesn't it? It's you get really hopeful, get really positive, and then it crushes you back down again. So hopefully, this is the time to get back into the playoffs.
Hopefully.
I know we just had a joke about me being positive and all that. Have you met Cal? That Cal is the antithesis of he's even worse than me. Have you not met Cal before?
Can I answer your question with a question and just say I've never watched Huddersfield Town before?
Well, I have, but my point is that normally I'm the middleman here. Oliver's the positive one, I'm the middleman, and Cal, you're the negative one.
Okay, right. Okay,
but we've all got our opinions. It's good though. It's all passionate, isn't it? It's all good. We're all
I just want to confirm as well, because Steve said 6, Oliver, you said 3. There is 5 games left. Last game of the season is Wimbledon, Mansfield, Bolton, Cardiff, but next week it is Wickham Wanderers, and they come to the Ackle. Let me go through some comments and we can speak about that game as well. James says, how much grief, Downsy, has Chris Bell been giving you so far? John says, Bojan and Charles together seems to be the best combo we've tried. If we can just get Ryan Hardy back as well with the remaining fixtures. The players are something to play for now. and so are the Town fans. Saturday isn't dead rubber anymore. Chris also says, "Cheer, lads, we've got to go to Stevenage on the 18th, so we could do you another favour there." Yeah, if you just put a word in for us, Chris, that'd be be really grateful for that. We need consistency now, guys. So last 5 games, I'm going to say, Paul, we genuinely feel we'll have to win 4 of the 5 games to get in the playoffs. With it being that tight, says Dale. Being lucky with Reading and Leyton Orient results, don't think we'll make the playoffs. Got some hard games coming up. A lot of teams have games in hand. Let the management throw caution to the wind for the remaining games. Go out, all attack with no regrets. Let's hope we can see that, Ian. And let's hope we can see that on Saturday, Oliver, against Michael Duff's Wycombe.
Oh, you're coming to me first. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah, that's good. Is this prediction time, or are we going to just have a nice little generic?
Just a little comment while our listeners can start putting their predictions in.
Oh, nice. That was good. That was very good. Yes, against former manager Michael Duff. But like I say, we know what he's about. We know what he's capable of. His team and Wycombe are also kind of hanging in there as well. So it's going to be a tough test for both sides. But as I said, it's a must win. Well, all games are must wins now, aren't they? Really, for both sides. So.
And we feel as if, Steve, in this game, well, obviously you're feeling confident, and it is winnable. We know how Michael Duff plays. Some of these players know how he plays, so surely that should give Town a good advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. We know obviously how Michael Duff sets his teams up, so there'll be a lot of people behind the scenes that, in the analysis and stuff like that, you would like to hope that they would be pretty clued up on practically every point of what Michael Duff might throw at us. They've got very good players, particularly in midfield. They'll try and dominate the ball, as we well know. And it'll be very much, I think, a bit of a chess match, to be honest. We play in the system that we play, and, it'll be interesting to see how we can fare against them. I think Bojan coming back at this point is really good, and it's lovely to see him score today. I think, if he can grab a couple of more goals towards the end of the season, probably you would have to say it's the most remarkable sort of storyline across the season, to be honest, from a man that was practically out of the door in last summer to now everybody pinning their hopes on to stay fit and try and bang some more goals in. So yeah, it's winnable. They blow hot and cold. I don't quite agree with the comment that we need to win 4 out of 5, but I think we need to not lose maybe 2 out of the 5 left. I think if we lose 2, I think that's game over.
It is nice to finally see that everyone is seeing what I saw in Bojan, Steve. The two systems could be quite
similar. Twice a day.
Yeah. The two systems could be quite similar on Saturday. And it could go down to just who wants it more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you're right there. I think tactically it'll be, like I said, a bit of a chess match. Both teams set up in not exactly identical styles, but similar sort of formations in the way that we want to obviously play the game. What I will say is that we need to really, we're at home. It's Fortress Akim. We need to rev up the engine and really go after Wycombe, because they're definitely going to come here and want to win, because they're 2 points behind us. They're on 59 points. So it's even more imperative that they win, because I think that, being those couple of points behind us, they've got even less chance of getting in there. So it's going to be a massive game. Need to get up for it. Michael Duff will definitely be up for it. And I think, let's just hope that there's no massive injury worries going into the game next weekend, because we need everybody fit, really, or as fit as they can be for the match. Definitely.
And Cal, as Steve just mentioned, Michael Duff's going to be up for it. Do you think he's going to have any tricks up his sleeve for the weekend?
Well, I didn't have many when he was manager of Town, to be fair. So I'd hope not. But the man got sacked. Sorry, this is acting like this is new. The man got sacked for not being good enough. Come on, let's not be sentimental. I mean, I'd like to have him back now. That's a separate issue. But sorry, I'm all mean after sort of Lee Grant. I'm happy with Liam Manning, I think. I'm not sure. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know if he'll have a trick up his sleeve. We're sort of blow hot and cold with Wycombe. We seem to play either really good, connected, fast-flowing football against Wycombe, or they stifle us, and we seem to have quite a drab performance. So I'm hoping that it's the former, but as we've said, it's who wants it more. I'm just keen that this team are susceptible maybe to the pressure of what's been talked about, and no doubt everyone will be looking towards the table now and going, well, it still could be on. That's a lot of pressure to put on a side that's got enough problems as it is. So take the emotion out of it and just play what's in front of you.
Okay,
if we can not get attended off, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, that will be helpful. Jess said we need to switch on from the off. It's something we haven't done all season. And Dale's just replying to you, Steve. We're 3 points behind this evening as they've got a game in hand, Steve. So that's why I feel like we need to win for. Okay, I think it is prediction time. Paul is saying 2-0 Town, Bojan and Balka to score. Dale says, I feel Bradford have ended Wycombe's playoff hopes, so 2-0 to Town as well. Ian says, Town to win 3-2, classic. Jed says 3-1 Town and will beat Cardiff as well. They're stumbling. Michael 2-1 Wycombe win. Ain't got much hope. Back to negative tactics. Luke says cup final for both on Saturday. Town 1-0 last minute winner. Well, I'm absolutely loving the positivity, guys. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you very much for that. So with that being said, Cal, I'll come to you first.
Thank you very much indeed. That's pressure now, isn't it?
No, that's all right. That's why I've left Steve and Oliver next, obviously.
I'm not sure if the numbers are right, but I think it is the exact anniversary of the thrice champions against Wycombe to the day. If you are to cast your mind back to 1926, I'm not sure if you remember that far back.
I remember
but
it well.
The game that won the title that year was against Blackburn, and we won 3-1. So I'm going 3-1 Town.
Thank you, Cal. Great positivity. And by the way, if you are going to the...
Look at his shock. Look at his visible
Did you
surprise.
clip that? That's got to be a clip, surely. That's probably
crazy.
But good
Cal,
start. I like that.
It is. What we do need to say, Cal, is that the Cowshed Loyal, and I'm not too sure if it's with the 1908 group as well, are putting on a display before the game. So please make sure you bring your scarves. Make sure you're in your seats 10 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, well, as early as you can. If you can finish your pint 10 minutes early, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be great to see. Really looking forward to seeing that one, Cal. I'm sure you've put plenty of work in there and plenty of work to go on that thrice champions. Is it T4 that you're putting up? So
yeah.
Looking forward to seeing that one. So make sure you do get to your seats if you are going nice and early, so you can help with that and bring your scarves too. Steve, prediction time, please.
I'm going to carry on the positivity. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Town win with a Bojan header.
Wow, a 1-0 Town win with a Bojan header. And Oliver, wrap up the positivity for me, please.
Imagine if he says a loss now.
1-0.
No, not against Wycombe. No. If it was Cardiff, maybe. Wycombe. It's got to be Huddersfield 2, Wycombe 1. And I'm really happy with everyone positive. It's probably the first time everyone's predicted a win, so that's good.
No. Do you not remember the game after Bradford at home? We all predicted it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. Good times.
You know, that was good. That I enjoyed that.
That was
Well,
yeah,
guys,
2-1.
lots and lots of positivity after not the worst weekends of an Easter. 2 bank holiday positive results, I guess. Okay, maybe some people are happy with a draw, but 4 points out of 6. You can't really complain too much about that one. Town are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Lots of football still to be played. I just want to mention it again from all of us here at the West Yorkshire Football Show and the Talktown special. Liam Manning, our thoughts are with you. And I think we've had a very positive ending to our show tonight with lots of positive results, which makes it even better that we can finish this podcast in good spirits this evening. So, Steve, Carl, Oliver, thank you for joining us. All our viewers and the comments have been absolutely wonderful. Like, share, subscribe. You know the score. We hope you all have a lovely short week, because tomorrow's Tuesday, not Monday, which makes it a little bit easier to get it up for work. So until then, have a lovely week. We shall speak to you soon. And until next time, see you.